Building Blocks is brought to you by the Contractor Centre, providing solutions to everyday challenges.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Turning our attention now to the segment Building Blocks, and this morning we're focusing on epoxy. So it's time for Building Blocks with the Contractor Centre, focusing on epoxy today and its various uses. And my guest is the CEO of the Contractor Centre, Andre Hutchinson. Hey to you, Andre.
Good morning.
Morning to you. How are you?
Alive and well, highly favored and very blessed. And happy to be on with you.
I like that. I'm going to start using that as well. So, Andre, today for Building Blocks, we are focusing on epoxy. And I have to ask, first of all, what is epoxy?
So, thank you for that question. Epoxy basically is a strong, versatile adhesive that is used in all different types of industry. Basically, it's a two components, a resin and a hardener. We mix them together. You get a strong chemical reaction, and they harden, and they use in all different facets of life.
And go ahead and tell us how we can use it.
All right. So some of the common uses are like in construction, where we use it for like repairing cracks. We also use it in like industrial spaces or hospitals for floors and walls, create antibacterial, antimicrobial. You have DIY users who like to use it for countertops, the pretty countertops, and then also we use it to protect our boats and our marine stuff so that we can go there in the water and protect it from harsh environments.
So for the cracks, is it that if I have a crack, I mix these substances together and I'm able to place it on it and it seals it up because you said adhesive? Could you explain how it fixes cracks?
Sure. So basically, for the ones that repair crack, they come in a tube. So you have a tube A and tube B. Squeeze, and you have a two-component squeezer. You squeeze it together, they mix, and it goes right into the crack. And if you just take a little putty knife or a trowel, you smooth it off, and it becomes a flexible resin where concrete is always moving. And so it creates a nice patch and, stays for a very long time because it moves with the concrete and the walls or whatever the floor.
Mm-hmm. And on the boats?
On the boats now, the boats are exposed to, salt water.
Yes.
Regularly. So that's a very harsh environment because salt can destroy anything. Mm-hmm. So on a boat now, you coat the base of the boat and, of course, the top of the boat to protect it so you can have a long life of the investment. Because boats aren't cheap. It's a very expensive vehicle or item or, mode of transportation.
Yeah. So, for example, with the boat, Andre, how often do I need to apply the epoxy to the boat?
That's a good question. So, ideally, you should be doing it every year. Depending on how much usage. So, like, for instance, those who are in the industrial space should be doing it every year. If you're more like you're just going out there to Lime Key every weekend, probably you can wait every 3 years.
Okay, so every 3 years. And you also mentioned, I don't know if this is, I guess the ladies could get involved in this one. You said it could be used for DIY. Epoxy could be used for DIY. Could you tell us some of the ways that works?
Sure. So a lot of our clients use the epoxy, which is clear, and then buy a pigment, which is we'll call a metallic pigment. And what they'll do, they'll use it to form like tabletops. So they'll pour it in, and you get like a river look in the middle of two pieces of wood, or they will use it to create a piece or item. I've seen people do domino tables. or just even just an artistic piece that they sell. It's very flexible.
And Jermaine, just before I'm coming back to you, Andre, Jermaine, if you could just pull up a picture of what Andre just mentioned about the DIY, where you have two pieces of board and you apply the epoxy in the middle, and then you get a really, really nice finish. I am seeing some of that on the internet, and it looks quite beautiful.
Yes.
So the ones I'm seeing, Andre, it has a sea blue kind of color. Is it that the epoxy, you can mix it to have different colors?
Absolutely. So the great thing about epoxy is it's very flexible. All we are basically is limited by our own imagination. Right? So people can do sea blue, I've seen with red, I've seen with gold, I've seen with brown, anything that comes up to their mind. And I even seen where they just have it clear and they use like bottle stoppers or little coins in the table to just kind of highlight those things. So it's only limited by imagination.
Yeah. Do I need to be skilled in any particular way to do this kind of thing, or a lay person like me can do the DIY epoxy application?
Well, we have we have a product called or epoxy in a box, and that one is basically we lay out everything for you to be done. So if you want, it covers about 100 to 125 square feet, and it's really good for those people who are just starting, beginners, amateurs who just want to experiment, because it's not a big area, and the instructions are there, and everything that you need is already in the box. For more complicated projects, over 500 square feet to 1,000 within an industrial space, you definitely would require some amount of expertise, because when you get out there and start doing epoxy, you realize every floor is different, every situation is different. Sometimes you have moisture issues, sometimes the concrete is weak, and all different types of things. But we've been around 11 years, and we've seen almost everything.
Yes. So let's talk prices now. Do these things come in different sizes, and what's the cost attached to it?
So pricing is so when we're offering the full service, it's really all dependent on the square footage that we have and where we're doing it. Because we also not only work in Jamaica, we work all over the Caribbean in terms of in Guyana, Suriname, Barbados, Trinidad, all the OECS islands.
Yes.
So it's all dependent. But one of the things that we try to do, we prefer to consult and say, okay, this is what you would need. On an itemized basis, like the epoxy in the box, that will cost you around $35,000 to do 100 square feet. Most flooring requires almost $100,000 to do a entire room, So it's very cost effective in the scheme of things. We also have different packages and sizes, so like maybe a 3-gallon kit of clear epoxy is running somewhere between 60 and 70,000. But again, that's all dependent on the ability to use it,
Yeah. So if I come in and, I'm not too sure about how to go about things, kind of looked at the paper, but I'm still kind of lost. Is it that you have persons on the floor who I can speak to? Yeah, like they can explain the process to me and all of that?
Absolutely. We have a team of experts who can assist you. We've been in the business a long time. We've seen a lot. We know a lot. Even if you are not in Kingston or you want us to come to you, we can come to you and give you a consultation and let you know what's the best for you. Because what we're trying to do is just kind of serve the public, We try to bring dreams to life, So whatever it is that you need, we were there to support what those dreams are.
Yeah. And how can we find you, Andre? Persons listening, they're interested in getting the epoxy to do some sort of application at home. How can they find you?
So we're located at 26 Shortwell Road, Kingston 8. Busy road, very popular road. We're also online at contractorcentreja.com. You can reach us through there. But we're also available on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok under the handle the Contractor Centre. And we respond quickly when you communicate with us.
Yeah. And just to tell us again, Andre, about the epoxy and the main uses of it.
So main uses for the epoxy are, let me divide it into two different, just main industrial spaces where people can coat their facilities, processing areas, warehouses, repairs for contractors, on marines for boats. But for homeowners and DIYs, we'll have the epoxy in the box, and all different types of uses for their garages and wherever else they want to use it.
Mm-hmm. And if you could sum up why epoxy is so important to either the construction industry or other industries, what would you say?
I would say it's one of the most versatile products out there. It solves so many problems because in construction, depending on what's happening, you get some inconsistent results with the building, and so repairs need to be done on a regular basis. Over time, concrete cracks, it needs to be resolved, and I think it's just really a very useful tool to have in your kit in terms of being able to restore buildings, to beautify buildings, to protect your investments, because really epoxy falls onto a thing called protective coating. So you spent your money, you built your building, you need to protect your investment.
And what other tools might I need if I'm about to embark on an epoxy application? So I have the epoxy, but what else would I possibly need?
That's an excellent question. Depending on the size, but for the most part, squeegees, you need to have a grinder.
What is a squeegee, Andre?
So squeegees, that's an excellent question again. Squeegees basically are a flat edge tool, Rubbermaid, and it has a little, I'd say, rivets in it that create a place for the epoxy to flow through and level off.
Okay. So you need a squeegee.
Like squeegee, roller.
Squeegee.
Yes, rollers, spike shoes, all of which we sell and rent for people who want to do projects.
So let's go over them again. I need a squeegee. So I have the epoxy, but I also need a squeegee. And what else?
Squeegee, roller, spike shoes.
Spike shoes.
Spike shoes.
So that's the kind of shoes I'm supposed to be wearing when I'm applying epoxy?
Absolutely. So you can walk in it and you can get a better feature. So it's high heels for the construction industry.
I like that. So it's high heels for the construction industry.
Absolutely.
Called spike heels.
Spike shoes.
Spike shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, so squeegee, rollers, and spike shoes. And of course, the epoxy.
Of course.
And you guys have all of these?
Yeah, we have all those for sale and for rent.
For sale and for rent?
Absolutely.
Wow, so you have them for rent. So, for example, how can I go about the process now of renting the shoes?
So you come in, we charge per day. Most of these things you're only going to need it for one day, maybe two max. And you register, you come down with your ID and proof of address. And we sign you up and we get you started.
As simple as that.
Absolutely. We like to keep it simple at the Contractor Centre.
Great. What if it is that I come in and you don't have spike shoes in my size? Do you guys do sourcing?
Is one size fits all,
It's one size fits all?
Yes.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, I have guys who have size 15 and some guys who have size 7.
Yes.
When you put it on, it's like a Velcro wrap on the top of your foot. So it fits anybody.
Okay. Lovely. So again, before we let you go, Andre, to tell us, our listeners, where we can find you, your location, and on socials as well.
Yeah, so come on down to 26 Charlton Road, Kingston 8. We're open Monday to Saturday. We're online at the Contractor Centre JA, and we're also available on Instagram, Facebook,
You're breaking up a bit there, Andre. Could you repeat?
Sorry. Like I said, come on down 26 Charlton Road, Kingston 8. We are located online, contractorcentreja.com, and we're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, under the handle The Contractor Centre.
And one of our YouTubers motivated asking for your phone number. So the phone number is for Contractor Centre.
876-968-4816.
All right. Andre Hutchinson there, who is the CEO of the Contractor Centre, telling us this morning about epoxy and the many ways in which you can use it. And they also provide all the tools that you need if it is that you're about to do an epoxy application. Thank you so much, Andre.
Thanks for having me.
That has been it for Building Blocks. We're going to take a break and come back with more.
Building Blocks was brought to you by the Contractor Centre, providing solutions to everyday challenges.